The opinions and recommendations expressed by Dan are his own and do not necessarily represent the opinions of this station or any of the show's sponsors.
Welcome back, Financial Issues. I'm Dan Celia. It's great to be here. 866-300-9298, 866-300-9298. The market's obviously waiting for Janet Yellen. This is Janet Yellen's first press conference since she has been the Fed chair. It's going to be very interesting to get her economic forecast. So at 2 o'clock Eastern time, we'll get her economic forecast. And at 2:30, she will go into deliberation and elaborate on the economic forecast that she has made. So that will be today. So European markets, U.S. markets, all kind of sitting back, waiting. The expectations is that the tapering or the quantitative easing is going to continue to taper. There's not going to be any change in that. What else? Well, I guess we'll get a reassurance of the markets that the interest rates are going to stay low for an extended period of time. I think the more important part is what we read between the lines, what she doesn't say. That's what I'm going to be looking for anyway. I'm going to try to do the best we can to interpret what will be the reaction, obviously, of the markets as to what she said, but interpret all of the data and try to read between the lines a little bit as to what she might be saying that is very different than Ben Bernanke. See if her track record from here on in will be any better than his. His was dismal at best. I don't think he accurately called one single thing. There had to be something. I just can't remember what it was. But pretty much everything he said never happened. So, or he missed dramatic in big time. So anyway, we'll see if she's any better than that. Ben Bernanke's whole attitude with the quantitative easing, the whole strategy for his so-called saving the economy was based on certain assumptions, based on assumptions in the business community, small business community, as well as consumers, and totally inaccurate. And if somebody said to me, what is the best call that you have made since this financial crisis started in 2008, it would be somewhere around January of 2009, me saying that everything the Fed does is not going to work. Not now, not in 2 years, not in 3 years, not in 5 years, not maybe ever. Because my premise of that discussion and argument was that most of the money in this country is controlled by the baby boomers. And if you're a baby boomer, you have seen your IRA collapse in 2000. You saw it in the 90s. You saw it in the 80s. You saw it in 2008. And now you're nearing retirement. You're saying, never again. I'm not doing this anymore. I can't afford it. I would like to retire at some point in my lifetime. Now that my retirement after 2008 has just got, pushed back 10 years if you still have a job. So their mindset of the baby boomers changed forever. And I believe that is still true today. And I think that's one of the reasons why Ben Bernanke missed everything. 866-300-9298. Let me go to Joel. Joel's calling us from Georgia. Hi, Joel.
Hey, Dan. How are you?
I'm good.
Dan, I'm not, I wouldn't consider myself to be a very wise or financially strategic type person.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a born-again Christian. I work hard. I have an honest and hard work ethic. And I listen to you when I can. I can't listen to you every day. But anyway, I've been this bubble that's been predicted, the next big, collapse.
Yes.
Or what's my question is this: what and how should we respond? And what's going to happen to our mortgages? People that still have mortgages. My assets are a lot more than my debts, but I just want to know how and what's going to happen to the mortgage and how should I respond?
Yeah, that's a great question, Joel. And you're a lot more astute about economic things than you think, because you have conquered one of the key elements, and that is your number one, your a Christian working on Christian values and you have a good work ethic and you know that hard work leads to good things. I wish everybody knew that and knew the same about their personal economy and the economy in general. But anyway, here's the thing. If the bubble is going to pop. When it does and we have a collapse, the mortgages, nothing's going to happen to mortgages other than you're going to see banks are going to be in, big trouble as mortgage rates go up dramatically. Now, if you have a mortgage and it's locked in, you probably have heard me say this from time to time, Joel, but when people ask me about getting a mortgage, I almost beg them or make it very clear, do not consider doing an adjustable rate mortgage. I know it sounds good now, but I'm going to save you a lot of brain drain in trying to figure out what to do. Just don't do it. And if you've done it, if you have it, refinance today to make sure that you get a fixed mortgage. Because if you have some debt by way of mortgages or even some commercial loans or whatever it might be, it's not going to change. Your mortgage, your rates aren't going to go up. Your mortgage isn't going to change. What is going to change, Joel, and the big fear that we ought to have is your ability to earn income to pay the mortgage. And that's going to be the greatest danger with that, not the mortgage itself. Now, if you have an adjustable rate mortgage, that's a different story. But, if you're fixed at 5% or whatever it is, it's going to stay there. It's not going to go. Are the banks going to get in trouble? Are the mortgage lenders, some of them going to get in trouble? Some of them maybe even facing bankruptcy? Absolutely. There's no doubt about it. But that's not going to impact the individual. It shouldn't impact the individual. That book of business or that book of mortgages is either going to be taken over by the government or it is, going to be taken over by another company. But it's not going to go away. In all likelihood, there are going to be one of these big surviving banks that are going to buy up these mortgages and be able to make it work because of a thing called the law of large numbers. The law of large numbers is used in insurance terms and financial terms, and you can do an awful lot when you have a very large number to work with. So it's going to be based on that, and I feel very safe about that. But the concern's going to have to be is your ability to earn a living. How's that going to impact your business? How's that going to impact if someone's working for a company? What's that going to do to the company? Are they going to be able to keep you employed? That's where the problem is. That's why I always say one of the greatest things you could do for yourself and for your family is continue to work hard, obviously, to get rid of your debt, including your mortgage. And, the mortgage is a tough one to do, but little by little, the Bible says little by little, wealth grows. Well, little by little, your wealth can grow by paying your mortgage down little by little. And we need to stay focused on that because ultimately, during a crash, the people that are going to come out the best are the people that have little exposure to the markets, so they didn't lose significant portions of their savings, and the people that have as little debt as possible. So they're the ones that are going to come out of it or get through it a little bit easier than some of the others. So you're fine. Go ahead, Joe.
I thank God every day that my dad taught me those lessons when I was, coming out of high school. I bought my first home when I was 17 years old, and
wow.
He told me never sign a mortgage with anybody where they have control of the interest rate. And praise God, when I built my home back in 1999, that I had a fixed rate of 3.25, and it's been that ever since. So
wow. Well, your dad was a wise man, and you were wise to heed his advice. So not too many 17, 18-year-olds are listening to the wisdom of their parents. I'm glad you did. Great stuff. Thanks, Joel. 866-300-9298. Let me go to Ronnie. Ronnie calling us from Louisiana. Hey, Ronnie.
Good morning, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Great. I'm a truck driver, and I had some bad complications. My motor blew up, and so now I'm working on another job, and so my previous job, they came and the IRS wanted to garnish my taxes. I didn't pay my taxes for a couple of years, and so I went and I was talking to a tax consultant. This guy down in Louisiana said, "Fix my taxes," and he was telling me that he would file for me and he would go in to the IRS for me, and it's $2,500 to start him to working. And I was just wondering what your take was on people like that. Are they legitimate businesses, or what can I do to find out if he's legitimate?
Well, there are legitimate businesses that do that, Ronnie, and some of them do a very good job at it. Most of the ones that are very legitimate are tax lawyers that have built a law firm around helping people like you and working with the IRS. So most of them are tax lawyers. That would make me feel a little better if that was the case here. But there are legitimate businesses. But there's also a huge amount of scammers doing this on a regular basis. So let me give you an example of something very legitimate. A tax lawyer might say, here's what you owe. You owe X amount of dollars, and we want a percentage of whatever it is we save you. You don't have to pay us until we're finished. And so, you're working on a percentage basis. So if they save you $1,000, they may get 30% on that $1,000. So, you give them, $350 or whatever it is. So, that is a better way to go into it. Now, they have an incentive, obviously, to save you as much as they possibly can and to make it work for you. Once you give somebody money up front, their mentality or their mindset ends up going to the next client that they can get money up front on. So I don't like that model in anything. My first reaction is if somebody needs money up front, there's probably an issue there. So certainly you can check it out by going to, you can check it out by going to the Attorney General's office for the state of Louisiana. I mean, you can definitely do that. And that would be one way to see that it happens. The other, and say, listen, here's the name of the company. You can go to the website, State Attorney General for Louisiana in your area. And one of the ways that you can do that, and when you do that, is, give them their name. They'll say, you know what, we've had several complaints about that. I wouldn't use them. That's one way. You can go to the Better Business Bureau in your area. Say, do you have this company listed? Have there been any complaints? But I would look in the, yellow pages or on the website for a tax accountant that is specializing in that. And I think that'll save you a lot of headache and a lot of heartache to do it that way. And it's a much more legitimate way of doing it. I'd rather see you do it that way. It might cost you a little bit more, but you want somebody that's going to be based on saving you money and incentivized to save you money. And it works out a whole lot better.
Yes,
okay?
Sir, I do appreciate you. Yes, sir. Thank you, Counselor. He wanted it up front. And it just, my wife and myself went in and talked to him. And it just seemed kind of strange that he would want it up front. I mean, I understand you want something, but you haven't done anything, and I'm going to hand you $2,500.
Yeah.
And he said he would get power of attorney, and he would do this, that, and the other. I mean, I understand that it's business, but it's just something that just doesn't sit right with me.
Yeah, I don't like that either, Ronnie. I'm glad the Lord put a little check in your spirit in that. I think that was smart. I'm glad you called. Thanks, Ronnie. I appreciate it, brother. Good stuff. Hope that helps some other people. You're listening to Financial Issues. I'm Dan Celia. Let me see if we can squeeze in John from Pennsylvania. Go ahead, John.
Sir, I'm 73, and my wife is about the same age. She's still working part-time. And we have some available cash. Mm-hmm. What would you invest it in? I was told silver, gold, tangible things.
Well, John,
I'm trying to prepare for the crash.
Yeah. I don't, the best thing you can do, in my opinion, to prepare for the crash is to, will gold and tangible things go up in value? Yes. The question's going to be, what are you going to do with it? You got to be able to use it. And I have concerns about that. So in my opinion, I'd stash some cash at home and I would just have some cash. And I think that's the best thing you could do. Just keep it out of tangible goods. I'll talk about that maybe later, but that's what I would do. You're listening to Financial Issues. I'm Dan Celia. We talk about the economy. We're helping you be the best steward you can be with all that God has given you.